Thursday night headliner, Mr. Frank Turner. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I heard your sound checking. It was on point.
Oh, thank you.
I'm looking forward to it.
That was rather earlier in the day than we usually play music.
I thought this place opened at 9. Apparently it doesn't open until 12. So I was like, I'll just sit here and just watch all the sound. Yeah. Caught Jimmy Lemon. That was fantastic.
Lovely.
And I'm surprised you guys haven't done a tour together.
Well, I mean, we have in the past in different incarnations.
Because they came out at the same time as Million Dead.
Yeah, Million Dead and Reuben were kind of like brother and sister bands. I love Journey to Pieces, and I'm hoping to spend some time hanging out with them later today. But it's definitely something that we will do at some point.
It has to happen. It's just meant to happen.
I mean, God love him. He's a seriously talented individual and a sweet man.
He's proper to flip that to a completely different level as well.
He's definitely doing something really unique right now. Like it's, I'm kind of his creativity is kind of endless, which I love.
And he's always polite, no matter what it is.
Oh yeah,
so it's cool.
Yeah, he's a sweet guy.
No Man's Land.
Yes.
I listened to the new track this morning when I got in, because obviously, as you know, signal is shit here.
Right. Yes, I'm aware of this.
So, The Death of Dora Hand.
Yes.
Which is an absolutely beautiful song.
Thank you.
And it's a nice. It's almost like an episode, like a TV episode condensed into 4 minutes.
Yes.
And it's a really tragic song, but
it is. Yes. Well, I was looking this up the other day about where I originally found the story, because I went off and bought some more books to get more into the details. But like, I found a guy called Dee Brown, who's a Native American writer, and he wrote A History of the West. And I looked it up again the other day, and it's literally like 2 paragraphs. He tells the whole story in. And I remember I was reading the book, and I read those 2 paragraphs and went, hold the fucking phone.
Yeah, there's not much else on Wikipedia.
So I then immediately went off and found out as much as I could about it. But like, for me, and this is the thing about the new record, is like, it might be a political record in its implications, and I'm happy with that, but it is first and foremost a storytelling record. It's a history record. And I just read that story and thought to myself, it is nuts that nobody has told this story in a song before. Yeah. Like, I'm actually kind of staggered that this hasn't been done before. So, if no one else can do it, I'm going to step up.
It's almost like a tragic love triangle kind of thing.
It is. I mean, I use this word one too many times in the podcast episode, but it's kind of Shakespearean. Yeah. Like, the tragedy of the whole thing. And it's also fascinating, there's not that many female performers from that era of history whose names we actually know, so it's kind of cool to celebrate her.
It's a modern day Hollyoaks storyline.
Yeah. Shakespeare Hollyoaks.
This has been like a long time coming. I've heard about the concept record for a while, and you were umming and ahhing about. So I mean, when did this start? Have you been doing it for a while, secretly?
I had after Positive Songs was done. I was in this place where I really felt like I was bored of writing songs about myself. Okay. And I started writing these songs about sort of historical women, and that was the project I was going to work on. I actually finished writing the record. And then 2016 happened, and by the end of that year, when the world had just gone so completely bananas everywhere, both in the UK and in the US and elsewhere as well, I sort of felt like I was duty bound to respond to all of that slightly more directly. Okay. So the songs that were Be More Kind kind of arrived at that point, and I wrote them down, and then did that record. So I kind of like changed my running order briefly.
Right, okay.
But I sort of felt like if I was going to respond to Brexit and Trump and all the rest of it, that I should do that straight away.
Yeah.
So I did that, but then once that was done, it was kind of like, well, let's get back to Plan A and what I was working on before. And what was nice is I sort of went back to the songs thinking to myself, well, this would be cool because I have a chance to like rework all the material and make it better. And I went back to it and and I don't mean to blow my own trumpet here, but I was like, oh, these songs are pretty fucking good. Okay. So I didn't actually change very much. The main thing I had to change was that in the interim, Sister Rosetta Tharpe was not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when I wrote the song. Right. And the song was originally supposed to be this sort of clarion call saying that she should be. Yeah. And then in the interim, she is now in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so I had to change the lyrics. Great news for her, slightly annoying for me, but life goes on.
It's only 5 minutes.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, is the running order the way things are going to get released?
No, not quite. I mean, there's been really long and boring arguments about that behind the scenes. A lot of it has to do with which podcast episodes we've recorded already.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they're coming out one a week going forward, which is kind of cool. And I just love having the podcast out there because, to take somebody's life and try and tell the story in 3.5 minutes, that's a little bit short to tell the entire story of somebody's life. So it's kind of cool to have an extra 40 minutes of actual just pure historical discussion.
Is there anyone that you went in that didn't make the cut, or one that's on the track list that you were like, this is my favourite story to tell?
I think in terms of telling a story, the Dora Hand song's pretty up there. Yeah. But there's many more that we will discover as going on. It was an interesting thing because again, again, it being a storytelling record first and foremost, I sort of asked around among my friends for like lists of people to possibly write songs about, and I got sent all these crazy names of these people who live wonderful, important, beautiful, striking lives. But you have to have an angle to write a song. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you know, the song about Dora Hands is about tragedy and regret. It's not just about Dora Hands. The song about Sister Rosetta is about acknowledging your influences. And do you know what I mean? It's like the songs aren't just about the people. There has to be an angle to get onto it. So, for example, there's a woman called Amelia Earhart, who is a German aviator. She's the first woman to fly across the Atlantic, and she was a cross-dresser and possibly a lesbian. She crash-landed in the North African desert and walked back to Europe. Like, she was incredible, and I couldn't figure out quite what I was going to say about her, and it bugged me for fucking ages, and I never did finish it. So that was a swing and a miss, that one.
Oh man, you're always like doing special things. There's no B-sides to some late songs, late arrivals?
No, I think with this one we just it's kind of like I had 13 songs and it was like bleh. I mean, already people have been asking, is there going to be like a sequel? And it's just kind of like, let's get the first one out first. I mean, in theory, sure, I'm not opposed to the idea, but I do feel like I've kind of covered this topic in the way I want to cover it, and I'll write about something else next time around.
Is this just a bit of fun, or is this like a tour planned, or is
we're going to do some dates. We're announcing some tour dates on Monday, actually.
Okay, I know Newcastle's been announced.
Yeah, well, we're doing the show in Newcastle up on Saturday, actually, while this is still going on, and I'm going to miss a bunch of bands I want to see, which I'm sad about. But yeah, we've got a big old UK tour at the end of the year, so looking forward to that.
Awesome sauce, man. Well, I mean, as a history buff, because I know you always like to do your history, and I always like seeing the Instagram stories of I'm in X, Y, and Z, and doing that. Is there anything else you'd like to do outside of that?
I mean, the one thing I would say is that, like, first of all, I've absolutely loved being able to talk about history within the context of my music, because my two passions in life have always been slightly divided from each other. And the thing that I love about this is that we brought them together, and that's really cool. And secondly, like, the guys who are making the podcast, they're quite a big podcast production company, and they've sort of said to me that they think I'm quite good at it, which is, I've genuinely got no idea.
They get all the offers now.
Well, they're sort of saying, would you like to do another series about something else? And I might do. It might not be about songs. It might just be purely about history. I guess we'll see.
Tag team up with Dan Snow and do some BBC
I mean, that would be cool as hell. I mean, it's an exciting kind of new frontier for me. Just shit like, so for example, when my friends come to London, London history is my absolute passion, right? And when my friends from overseas come to visit me in London, I'll take them on one of the open top bus tours, but get them to take out the earphones and I do the chat, because I know quite a lot about it and I just love talking about history. So being able to sort of harness that in a professional way is kind of cool. It's kind of exciting.
Well, there seems to be a lot of London history being uncovered due to the what is it? Jubilee thing?
Yeah. I mean,
I've been following that, and that's really interesting.
Funnily enough, the song that is coming out next week is a song about a graveyard in South London that was rediscovered when they were extending the Jubilee line. It's a medieval sex worker's mass grave. So that's what the song is about next week, and it's a Christmas song.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, I hate Christmas songs, but I thought, fuck it, I'll write one. And if you're going to write a Christmas song, it might as well be about a mass prostitute graveyard. But yeah, I'm excited for it. And of course, the middle of July is the perfect time to release a Christmas song.
Yes, so you got your running time for the Christmas number one.
Well, I suppose so. Yeah, we can kind of get the campaign launched 6 months ahead of time.
Definitely, dude. I'm looking forward to the World War, the Spy one. That one.
Oh yeah, that's going to be fun too. That's going to be good. Thank you so much.